Hello everybody, I'm back and I'm going to talk about something that grinds my gears quite a lot, pseudoarchaeology. What is this, you may ask? Well, I'm sure you'll get an idea when I tell you one famous TV series title, Ancient Aliens. It bases itself on the theory that extraterrestrials have been in contact or dominating ancient civilization, and that they would be the explanation of things like technological progression and the rise and falls of these civilizations, completely disregarding the ingenuity and competence of humans themselves. And this is just one example of pseudoarchaeology, one quite famous. And pseudoarchaeology often has a couple of key aspects that I'm going to point out to you. It often involves some greater power, like a god or aliens or magic, as a few examples, questionable interpretations of existing remains of an ancient civilization, and a massive critique of mainstream archaeological interpretations of the same remains. And it's often mixed with a bit of conspiracy theory. Don't get me wrong, I love a magical item. I love intriguing stories. I just keep my fairy tales and epic adventures in fiction. I'm a vivid Skyrim player, and I also play other role-playing games that circle around a concept of old items having epic powers and that they challenge or threaten the world. And I'm an ever-relapsing reader of H.P. Lovecraft, so I totally understand the temptation and mistake of those kind of diversion from mainstream and scientifically accepted parts of archaeology and science. I love them. I love paranormal TV shows. I just love it for entertainment. What makes me cringe is when people believe pseudo-scientific explanations instead of scientific explanations. And my issue with pseudoarchaeology is that it patronizes both those ancient civilizations and the scientists and archaeologists who are actually trying to figure out how things worked in the past. For archaeology to be a science, we need to have standards, and they need to be met. We cannot and we should not accept magic or gods or unproven extraterrestrials as explanations on how people did things just because we don't remember how they did them. And we should not patronize ancient civilizations by saying that they could not possibly have done something amazing just because they're ancient and we don't remember how they did it. That is the lore and the soul of archaeology for me. To find out how something worked, how somebody else did something, and possibly why. The why is always more dubious than the how, though. And archaeology is mystical and it's amazing in its own. It doesn't need fiction for that. We could do just as exciting TV about real archaeological projects. I mean, Time Team has proven this once again and again, and instead huge amounts of funding goes into these pseudo tracks, and that is what's shown to the public on channels on TV that claim to have some historical science at heart, and it's what's gets associated with our past and to archaeology as a field. I mean, if even half of those documentaries about holy grails and cursed pharaohs and other mystical objects were true, archaeologists would be much fewer in numbers, and we would frequent the mental ward much more often than we do.
He who robs the graves of Egypt dies.
We don't need fiction. Myths themselves are interesting just as they are as myths. I'm going to make another Skyrim metaphor or reference or whatever. Have you noticed that how many abandoned and slaughtered archaeological sites there are in Skyrim? I mean, I can on the top of my head name 4 archaeological sites where people have been excavating and the excavations have been halted because some old danger is rampaging through, killing all the poor souls excavating. My reasoning is that if pseudoarchaeology that claims magic, curses, gods, or might aliens being involved in the protection and the creation of such ancient monuments and artifacts, if it had more to it than entertainment, then we would have a much more dangerous archaeological work environment. And that kind of brings me into the conspiracy theory talk. Many conspiracy theories among these pseudo-archaeologists claim that archaeologists have found and know things that we just don't share with the public, or there is some big cover-up. Archaeologists are not paid enough to shut up about such amazing discoveries. If we did, we would be talking, and we aren't paid the sums that would be needed to shut us up, basically. Many of us are barely paid at all. And beliefs, religion and magic has, to our knowledge, always have been an important part of human society and in human storytelling. Mystery is something that we thrive on, it seems. And all that I'm saying is that we need to realize that myths and these kind of fictional things don't have a place in science. We thrive on myths as archaeology and stories of the past. It gives us a way to look into the minds and the worldviews of the people in the past, and give us a hint of their paradigms and how they explain their world. But there's a difference between understanding people's point of view in the past and turning it to explaining something paranormal. And there are many ideas about how the world works, and probably as many ideas as it is humans. And I won't go into right and wrong on the large scale. I'm just saying that we should try to explain the past with science, not with theories that either ignore parts of the evidence and explanations left in the past or by the past, or just are impossible to test or prove. We need to keep a scientific approach, and we need to base our interpretations of the past grounded in what we can actually make out of it. And we can't explain every great thing that the past humans did with that some greater power did it for them or made them do it. People are amazing and very capable on their own. What do you guys think? Please comment below and give me your insight and thoughts about pseudoarchaeology and the various fields it covers. Get in touch. I would love to hear what you think.